I don't know why we always laugh when the button gets pushed. I'd like to welcome everybody back to another episode of the Living Level. Uh, this episode, shut up, computer. This
What?
episode is just gonna be.
Get it, Daddy buying you a new one, son.
Yeah, you hear him? Get it. Just gonna be us two again, talking on a topic. It's probably a tough topic to talk about. Not a lot of people want to speak on it out loud, I guess, but we kind of wanted to touch on keeping peace and harmony in the lodge and what that looks like. See if we can shed some light on it, our thoughts on it, or whatever. We're just kind of going to wing it and see where it goes. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it is something not a lot of people talk about ever, really. We talk about it in our degree work, and it gets brought up in an opening and closing every time, talking about peace and harmony. And sometimes it doesn't work out that way.
No,
No.
sometimes it don't. But you said that, we talk about it and opening and closing and stuff like that. And then every time the secretary reads the minutes at the end, he always says peace and harmony prevailed.
Mm-hmm.
So, question for you and those out there in YouTube land. Is the secretary a liar if something happened in a meeting and there was not peace and harmony? Is that required? He has to say peace and harmony?
That's a good question.
Is he a hypocrite because he says it, or is it just we ended
Yeah.
because it wasn't so peaceful and it wasn't so harmonic, you
Yeah.
know?
Mm-hmm.
And we had a guy one night at this lodge ask that very question. You know, always wondered about that.
I sat in as secretary one time, and that was the one thing I was told. I was like, I really don't know what to do. They're like, just sit there and take notes, and make sure you end it with peace and harmony prevailed.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I got it. So that's what I did, and peace and harmony did prevail that night.
But you often wonder. I often wonder because there's been times that peace and harmony hasn't prevailed. But why do we
Mm-hmm.
put that in there? Yeah, it should always prevail.
Yeah.
But we're all men in a, far as I know, at least in these here parts, a male dominated fraternity,
Yeah.
and we're all passionate about things.
Yeah.
So disagreements, heck, maybe even full blown arguments
Yeah.
are bound to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But even at the end of the night, let's say somebody walks out and they don't come back to lodge that night, still peace and harmonic. I mean, how? I don't know.
Yeah. It,
Inquiring minds want to know.
I'm the same way.
You know, and that goes for everything. I've heard it at different places too. That should be like that for every fraternity you belong to.
Yeah. Churches,
Yeah,
everything. Yep.
you have disagreements everywhere you go. People are passionate about different things at different times, and I've also found because I'll debate low level, low key, argue with somebody, and we'll be on the same page.
Yeah.
And we just have different ways about getting to the middle. But that can even disrupt the peace and harmony, But we're reaching that time of the year where I know for me, peace and harmony is always on my mind because we're reaching the time of year where we got to elect new people to offices.
Yeah.
People get appointed to offices, and you wonder how other lodges do it. Which I mean, we have no problem here. Not that I know of. I mean, we have, sure. We've had,
I think every lodge has had.
you know,
Every lodge.
we've had nights where two parties have been passionate about something, and if they stop and listen long enough, they meet each other in the middle on common grounds. But at the time, that ain't always the case. But you just push through it. You may not like each other at this meeting, but you're gonna love each other at the next one. It's gonna be all right. Work it out.
It's gonna be huge.
Now what you do in between those 30 days, whether which is, because I've had disagreements with people at our lodge, and went to bed that night feeling like total crap,
Mm-hmm.
wishing the sun would hurry up and come up so I could call that brother and us talk. Some people, it may take a couple of days, maybe a week, even 29 days. Who knows?
Yeah.
But be sure that if you have a problem like that, you get it taken care of. But back to elections, I've often wondered how that peace and harmony, that particular peace and harmony, is it always it's always there. It always sustains it because during elections you have your chair people, okay, and most lodges like ours, they promote through the chairs. But let's say you get to a year, or you may be at that year at your lodge, who knows, and you may not going to be voting for this guy that's in a spot. You may be going to vote for somebody else totally different, and you are afraid that it may hurt that other person's feelings or disrupt peace and harmony, but you feel that that's the way the lodge should go, you know, and you already know that nobody's going to know how you vote, but the whole time you're sitting there thinking, man, I'm fixing to really disrupt the peace and harmony. Do you continue with your vote for the better of the lodge, or you just promote?
You should vote your heart the way you think is best for the lodge. Is how you should vote. Whether there's consequences from it or not. I mean, that's what we're told. Even before the ballot's passed, you're told to vote your conscience.
Yeah.
Vote what you think's the better of the lodge.
Yeah.
And you have every right to vote whoever you think goes in what position.
Yeah.
As long as that person's eligible.
You're right. Because I mean, I wouldn't say that masonry, which I'm sure it does, has its little cliques, just like everywhere else. You got a certain group of guys in the lodge. That's who you hang out with, and that's it. Them's my boys. Even though everybody's my brother, them's my boys.
Yeah.
I could see where that could pose a problem
Yeah.
to the peace and harmony of the lodge. And I mean, do you look at it like, okay, well, this guy ain't gonna get voted in for something. He's gonna get upset. He may quit. Well, if he quits, was he really there? I mean, was his heart where it was supposed to be? I don't know.
I mean, that is tough. You're supposed to vote your heart and your conscience and the betterment of the lodge, but at the same time, you're supposed to keep peace and harmony in the lodge.
Yeah.
But
so I mean, it's
you really don't know what somebody else is, how they're going to react,
right.
One way or the other.
I mean, who's to say? Well, he leaves. Well, he got family here or something, and they leave.
Yeah.
You lose one because one didn't get in. Not saying something like that. I'm sure it has happened.
Yeah.
I don't guess I've ever seen it happen, but I'm sure it has happened.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have to look at, like you said, you have to make sure that the lodge is going to grow after. Because sometimes once peace and harmony is disturbed, it does more damage than you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it only takes one bad apple to ruin the whole bunch.
Yeah.
So sometimes, maybe just me, sitting here thinking about it, maybe sometimes peace and harmony got to be shaken up a little bit on certain things.
What if you got a lodge that has that bad apple, but nobody thinks there's only a few that can see the rotten fruit?
Well, you vote for the good of the order.
Yeah.
Ballot your heart. Ballot your conscience. Vote for the good of the order. I mean, if I think you're a bad apple,
Regardless of what everybody else thinks.
yeah,
If I'm the bad apple, regardless
I'm not going
if
to.
we got 100 members and 99 people think I'm a good apple and you think I'm a bad apple, then you should vote your heart.
Right,
No matter what everybody else votes.
right. That's what I think. But that is a treacherous path,
Mm-hmm.
almost uncharted territory.
But then you'll get people say, well, if you thought he was a bad apple, then why did you vote him in to begin with?
Exactly. Well, what if you were in before I got him? You know, because I've heard that too.
Yeah.
You know, well, we should have never let him in. Well, you had your chance. You know, you ever think? You ever stop and think when you're sitting in a lodge meeting and you look at the guys that you sat with? You ever look at some of them and be like, how?
I mean, for real. How?
Nobody had I mean, I'm not saying that for Sam Todd. I'm not saying that. But,
yeah.
you know,
You travel a lot. You sit in a lot of lodges.
yeah.
We've traveled together a lot. I traveled in my previous state a lot. And yes, you go to some lodges and you sit and look at somebody and you're like, how?
I mean, I've met some that were suspended, and I'm like, probably for the best.
Yeah.
You know, for non-payment of dues or whatnot. But you just, I don't know. You wonder maybe the lessons didn't take so well.
Yeah.
Maybe they're late bloomers or hard learners. I don't know. But I've been to different places, and you know, I've often wondered, you know, and I've heard people talk. You know.
And that's what one of the lodges I visited that I went to when I lived in Kentucky. I asked a brother that about another brother that was in the lodge. It wasn't my home lodge; it was one I visited, and I worked with the one brother that I was talking to, and we got back to work the next day, and he was like, "Well, what'd you think about the meeting and everything?" I was like, "Oh, it was good," and I was like, "What about on so and so? Like, how did he get in the lodge?" And that's when he looked at me and said, "You should have seen him before he joined the lodge." And I was like, "Okay, I didn't think of it that way, but
Yeah.
you know, how long has he been in lodge? You know, oh, he's been for like 20 years." I'm like,
But I mean, you wonder those that have been in for so long. They, you wonder if they sit back and think, am I the example for those that are coming in? Or those that haven't been in that long? Am I the example that I want them to see? Am I the example of masonry that I want them to look up to?
I I wonder how many Masons themselves actually ask themselves that question.
I don't know.
Because a lot, I mean, we're busy here at Sam Todd. We're busy, and you get so caught up in you're doing your busy work, your community and stuff. And I wonder sometimes if we're not stepping back and asking ourselves that question enough.
Could be.
I'm not saying we're poor examples of what a Mason should be, but I'm just saying, you know,
Yeah. Food for thought.
yeah, casual conversation. If people are backing up enough to ask themselves that question, well, am I representing the fraternity how I should, representing my lodge how I should.
Because there were some of the old guys here when I got in, and I would have to say I don't know if they ever stopped and thought about it, but they were definitely some great examples to look up to. And I just wonder, even myself, am I that example of masonry that I want somebody new coming in to look up to?
And I know men, especially one man. Uh, I won't say his name, but he don't go to lodge. But he probably personifies a Freemason and everything they're about. Probably more than everybody that goes that's members of his home lodge.
Mm-hmm.
But he quit going. You know what I'm saying? For whatever reason. But even though he's not necessarily an active member, he's still helping communities, helping people in the community, doing whatever he can for them. Really showing what a Freemason should be. But he doesn't go to lodge anymore.
Yeah. Mm. And that's sad. Regardless of what it is, it could have been peace and harmony.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, because you could say one little old thing and ruin it.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of how many years you've been in, you could say the wrong thing to one person and ruin masonry for them altogether.
Yeah.
And you've disrupted their peace and harmony. I think it's kind of like that. It's like a circle. We got to try to stay inside that circle the best we can. And in life, we run into situations that's going to bounce us up the wall of that circle. And for some of us, like me, we're probably going to go out that circle. And we might make a couple of laps on the outside for a little while, you know. But I think we have to do our best the first chance we can to rein it back in, you know. Control our passions.
Keep your passions within due bounds.
Yeah. And that's hard for men to do, regardless of what it is in life.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you belong to the Masons or you belong to the volunteer fire department down the road,
Yeah.
you know, regardless of what it is,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to run into situations to where your peace and harmony is going to be disrupted. And you just got to be careful with it because it ain't just yours that's getting disrupted, it could be everybody else's.
Yeah.
But you said something about somebody that quit. You wonder how you get them back.
Yeah.
You know, you wonder if that lodge ever stopped and thought, we had a good one. He ain't here no more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how do we get him back? What do we do?
Well,
Because every lodge faces that at some point in time, regardless of what it might be. You may have a lodge that merges, and you may have people that are under the assumption that, well, we're going to merge into this lodge, and we were officers at another lodge, but we're going to merge into this one, and we're going to stair step it. This lodge, our lodge, this lodge, our lodge. You know, stair step it like that, and then it don't work out like that. And, well, you know, a bunch of them quit. So you wonder how you get them to come back.
yeah. Well, the guy I was talking about, he had a lot of ideas on.
Ideal guy. I like those people.
Yeah. And they were trying to come up with different ways to make money other than the same things they do every year. So this guy started throwing ideas that he has done on his own that work,
Mm-hmm.
that bring lots of money and get community involvement at the same time. Nobody was wanting to listen to him. Nobody was wanting to give his ideas a shot, even the smaller one. You know, just something they don't have to invest a lot in. It doesn't take a lot of time. And when you're in the back you know when you're one of them guys that's got them ideas and you're like, I know this works because I've done it on my own over and over, and I'm telling the lodge, look, you ain't even got to do nothing. I'll do the same thing I've been doing, and we'll just use the lodge as main sponsor, however you want to say it. Do it under the name of the lodge,
Yeah.
and it's gonna work. And nobody would ever really give him a chance, and that just put a bad taste in his mouth. So he just continued doing what he done on his own, serving the community in his way,
Yeah.
and the lodge missed out on a lot of opportunity because of it. And I'm like, not everybody's gonna know who it is that's out there,
Right.
but I'm telling you, this guy done. There's the fishing tournaments with crop. This guy worked for Crappie USA for years and done their fishing tournaments. And he was like, "Hey, we can do a fishing tournament. You just I'll run the whole thing. Y'all ain't got to do nothing. Just
Yeah.
sit back. Help if you want, but no, just stuff like that. But there's a lot of other stuff. But just to put it in perspective, the guy ran fishing tournaments for Crappie USA for years. So
Yeah.
it's like he's used to doing all the footwork, all the leg work on massive tournaments. He was just wanting to do something small for the community, and they wouldn't let him. And it's like, sometimes you got to step out, kind of like we did here. Stepped out and got that fair booth.
Boy, did
Peace and Harmony almost got jacked a few times, during the planning of that.
Yeah.
And I get it. I mean, it was a big step.
Large
It was
undertaking.
a large leap for this small lodge.
Made me very nervous. I won't
Yeah.
lie.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Very nervous. But the Lord saw fit, and Sam Todd did great. And I encourage anybody, if you get a chance to get a fair booth at your parish or county fair, get you one.
Oh, I had a blast. It was hard work. Don't get me wrong, hard work. But I had a blast doing it. And like I said, I'd do it next week if we do it again.
Yeah.
This time I'll take off work. Schedule work off. I could be there all day instead of leaving work at 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when you got an idea guy and he's willing to do all the work for you. Why wouldn't you say, hey, well, let's give him a shot. If it fails, we ain't got to listen to him again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or whatever.
Yeah, because you can't just have the same ones coming up with the same ideals. It gets boring and monotonous. And,
Yeah, but some guys can just come up with ideas better than everybody else. Some people are like, yeah, I can't come up with ideas. I'm not a good idea guy. But if somebody comes up with an idea, I'll do whatever it takes to make that idea come to fruition. You know what I mean?
I understand. But sometimes it's ideals out of necessity.
Yeah.
Some of them are rushed ideals.
They always work.
They always make me nervous.
If it's planned, it's gonna make you.
I know it does, and I don't know why. I don't know why that is, but yeah.
I heard them boys talk a lot, saying you was nervous as a dog passing peach pits all day long, every day at the fair.
I was. Was we gonna have enough stuff? Was we gonna, make enough to pay back our initial investments and all that stuff, pay our bills that we had made during that time? And it is nerve wracking. My peace and harmony was
Your inner peace and harmony was
gone.
all jacked up.
It was gone for a week, but it was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
It was worth it. But how we'll get back to the topic on hand, I guess.
Bring it back around.
Yeah, bring her. We out the circle, come back in.
Yeah.
Catch a little dot. Put some side rails up. What do you think the best way to ensure that peace and harmony prevails?
When you have that many men in one room, and most of the guys, and it's probably every lodge, especially the older members, when you get guys set in their ways, you don't know what's going to happen, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to give it to the architect of the universe. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard to explain.
Mm,
And especially when there's so many men that are so passionate about
yeah,
stuff. And it seems like sometimes lodge is the only place that a man can be passionate and
yeah.
really, pour it out there.
And we've said it. I've said it over and over. I've only been a member of Sam Todd for a year and a half, and I've stepped in a lot of lodges, even my home lodge in Kentucky, and it doesn't feel like Sam Todd. Like that lodge room in there, like brings the passion out in somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. It's hard to explain. You can ask people that visit Sam Todd, and they'll all tell you Sam Todd just hits different.
I guess growing up in Sam Todd, it's just the only feeling that I know. And what is that feeling? What, since you brought it up.
It's hard to explain. It's just
Well, give us
when
some
you
time.
walk, you walk. I can walk in any lodge and feel at home.
Yeah, oh, yeah, definitely. Me too.
I can walk in any lodge and feel at home. But when you walk in that door of Sam Todd, it's like you're just taking it in every time you walk in there.
Like it's your first time.
Like you get it home, you take your home, you're home. You get off work, you go home, you walk through your door, kick your shoes off, put your little shorty shorts on, get out of your work uniform, whatever, and you just like, oh. But like in there, it's that same feeling, but it's just like, I don't know how to describe it. When you walk through the door of a brand new built house, it hits different than a house you've been in for 30 years.
Yeah.
That house you've been in for 30 years, it's still comfortable, but it doesn't have that brand new house feeling. You know what I'm saying? And it's an old lodge, you know what I mean? It's 100 years old, but it still has that, God, I'll fight for this lodge. You know what I mean? It's like, try to shut these doors. Yeah. I'll turn into a tree hugging hippie and chain myself to the pillar out there. I don't know what it is. It's something, I can't describe it. Maybe it's all the souls of the past masters hanging out in there.
They get grouchy.
Yeah.
It is a little different. I enjoy traveling to different lodges. I
Yeah.
love it. But it is nice coming home.
It's like I said, I can feel at home in any lodge I go to. But Sam Todd just has that.
It's different when you just sit in there and it's just quiet.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder how things was 100 years ago.
I went in there, I think it was me, you. I think Luke was in there with us one time too. It ain't been that long ago, but we was just sitting in there. Wasn't none of us saying a word. We're just sitting here. Maybe been playing on our phone or something. I don't know, but nobody was talking. And it's almost like you could hear the gavel. You can hear the whispers. You can hear the floor creaking. You know what I mean? It just,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's something.
Oh, I know.
It's something.
I enjoy it.
It's the smell. It smells different. It don't even really
It
smell
is.
like a lodge.
Yeah.
All lodges kind of have that same smell, but that one, it's different.
And, you said it was an old lodge, and it is an old lodge. It's been around a long time. And I've talked to different people, and, they talk about decorations of lodges. Different lodges they've been to and whatnot. And I'm like, yeah, our lodge is just Sam Todd, and they're like, Sam Todd is dated, but dated in a good way. You can't take what we got in here, how it's decorated, and put it in a new building and make it work. You just couldn't.
Mm-mm.
And I love that. And when you first walk in, you can tell that there's been many a nights that peace and harmony didn't prevail, and there's been many nights that peace and harmony, probably more nights of peace and harmony prevailing. And because you can't tell me all them guys 150 years ago got along all the time.
Oh,
They had to be passionate about it just like we are now.
what's that fella on the wall over there?
Which one?
Simmons?
Uncle Buddy
Uncle Buddy.
with a mustache.
I bet
Oh.
bet stuff got loud in there when he was up there at Masters.
Man, I'd have loved to have sat when he was here.
You know what I mean? It's
That old mustache, Uncle Buddy Harper.
yeah. You look at
Yeah.
all them old guys. They were all hard men back then. You know.
Had to have been. But you know they were passionate.
Hmm.
If they wasn't, this place would have died out a long time ago.
He wouldn't be in its third rendition
Yeah.
building.
Third, fourth, something like that.
Yeah, I know Sam Todd's over 100 years old, but this building was 64.
Yeah, this one's 64.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It is something different. And then talking about old lodges and stuff like that. I'm gonna spring something on you.
Okay.
Something I would like for us to do before we don't have the chance to do it again. I would like for us to, with our little podcast we got going on here, like for us to catch some interviews. And hey, leave in the comments after what I'm fixing to say. You got somebody, put it in the comments. I would like to sit down with the men that we think are the giants of masonry
Okay.
and get their story. We had one scheduled for Tuesday. We didn't get to do it because of the weather and work restraints. But we're hoping to get him in there. He is one of the top guys, probably my number one guy that I would say was a giant in masonry to me.
Mm.
Helped me a lot, taught me a lot. I can't wait to sit down and get his story. And might probably even ask him the same question. How do you make peace and harmony prevail? You've been in it long enough. You know the secrets.
Mm.
You know, but catch some of them guys that pave the way for us before they're not here for us to get it.
Mm.
And that way that'll give us something to hold on to.
Yeah.
A little tidbit, but something I want to do, you know, like I said before, we don't get the chance.
Yeah.
And there's even some guys that, you know, there's some guys that ain't old, but to me they're giant in masonry.
Yeah. We interviewed one of the men that I thought was giants, and our last interview, Dennis Noddy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That was I really enjoyed sitting down with him, learned
Terry
a lot
Fowler.
from him. Yeah, Terry Fowler.
You know?
Absolutely.
So there's two we already got out of the way.
Mm.
You know, well, you think about it, James Brown, Ricky
yeah.
Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, we've interviewed
A
several
few.
that I would consider giants.
when you sit down and you look at it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we wasn't this time of the year where peace and harmony is so in our face right now.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to ask some of those other guys those tough questions.
Hmm. Yeah, it's good questions. I mean, we've struggled trying to answer it today.
Yeah. Somebody just put it out there to me like, how do you keep peace and harmony when you're in a fraternity that's mostly made up of hard-headed men?
Yeah. Men that are set in their ways and passionate about it.
Yeah, which is okay.
Yeah.
It's good to do that. That
Mhm.
means your fire ain't went out. There's a time and place for all of it. But sometimes that time and place comes at the place and time that ain't for it.
Yeah. But it's how, to me, if that happens in a lodge, I think it's peace and harmony may not have prevailed when it happened, but how that lodge reacts afterwards, I think is where the peace and harmony will show. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you can't help somebody blowing up at a bad time or whatever. The passions get them,
Yeah.
whatever their emotions get them. But it's the aftermath, I think, is how it'll show if peace and harmony truly prevails in the lodge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think if something like that were to happen, and like you said, 30 days to the next meeting, if everything's back to peace and harmony, then I think it's a win. You
Yeah.
know, I think ultimately peace and harmony did prevail. But
I'd agree with that.
yeah,
Just a tough question, hard to answer. Which, I mean, we've talked about some tough topics on here, but
yeah.
this one's rough.
It's like you said though. I mean, you just saying stuff everybody's thinking about. They just ain't said it yet.
Yeah. It's just rough.
Because it's, I mean, it's something I've thought about several times, but just never never came up with how to keep peace and harmony prevailing at all times. You know,
Yeah.
I try to look at risk of sounding preachy, but
Come on.
in the great light of Masonry, which is the Holy Bible, the main character being Jesus Christ in that Bible, you look at him taking on every sin of mankind. None of them sins did he ever commit,
Mm-hmm.
but he took the punishment for all them sins. And not once did he complain, not once did he ask why, not once did he do anything of the sort. No kickback, no fighting it. He went with it the whole time. To me, that's the ultimate showing of peace and harmony. When you're being brutalized for something somebody else did, but you just sit there and take it. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The only time he cried out was when he was on that cross. And the only time he cried was when he thought his father turned his back on him. It wasn't the beatings, it wasn't the lashings, it wasn't the spears in his side, it wasn't the sponge filled with
Bitter
yeah,
wine or whatever
yeah,
it was.
yeah. Um, dang the words out of my. Anyway, fermented wine, yeah, vinegar, basically is what they were calling it. It wasn't a sponge filled with vinegar. It was when he thought his father turned his back on him. Said, "Oh God, why have you forsaken me?" That's when he cried. So to me, that's the ultimate showing of peace and harmony overcoming everything. When you can get beat and killed and take it like a lamb being led to the slaughter. I don't know. But that's hard to do because we're human.
Well, on that note, I have nothing else.
Yeah. So I guess we will wrap this up. I think it was a pretty good
Yeah.
conversation.
Sure.
Deep thought for our viewers out there. Do we have anything coming up? We need to make an announcement.
Friday night, Halloween night, which would be the
When-
night when this drops.
Yep.
Sam Todd will have a Halloween handout.
Yep.
We'll be here till Candy's gone. Trying to think, we got anything else coming up?
The Lorenzo Dow Oak revival's happening right now.
Yep, it'll be over with
It'll
tomorrow
be
evening.
over with tomorrow.
Thinking nothing else.
The Shrine Club and the Ritter did good on their pork plates.
Yeah, I believe so. Believe so.
Over 400 sold.
Yeah, I believe over 400 were sold, so that was good. Check on your brothers. Check on your neighbors.
Yep. Reach out to them.
They're going through something. Sometimes all they do is need an ear. Somebody to tell them that they're there. So you get a chance, pray for them. We got several brothers that are not necessarily at this lodge, but we got brothers at this lodge and friends of ours and stuff like that that are going through stuff, upcoming surgeries and stuff like that. So we need to remember them and their families and just be there for them. That's what we're supposed to do. So I don't think I have anything else. If you got a stated lodge meeting or a lodge function, let us know about it, and be sure you're there.
Yeah.
Elections are coming up. Nobody wants to be secretary.
Yeah. 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 You can put it in the comments too, where you go to lodge and what time they meet. And if our viewers see it and read the comments, they'll know where to go. And Sam Todd's third Saturday every month. Eat at 6:30, meet at 7:30.
That's right.
So come on out and join us if you can.
Yeah. Whether you're a Mason or not, we'll let you eat.
Oh yeah, yeah, we'll feed you something.
It's normally pretty good food. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, with all that being said, I'm gonna have to ask you. Hit that like button, smack that subscribe button, and whack that little bell. Until next time, we'll see you on the living level.